I'm here because I am a roaring lion crying out righteousness. So the Iowa caucus was last night, and Donald John Tribulation Trump is in court here at New York City Federal Court, Southern District, on behalf of E. Jean Carroll, who's suing him for defamation of character and asking for $10+ million. So Trump's been flying around on his plane. He was out there in Iowa, as cold as it was, and he won the Iowa event. But I want to ask a question. Now, I'm not being racist here. I'm being theatrical and dramatic, more dramatic than theatrical. I'm not being racist here, and I think y'all know that. You'll know that when I say it. But years ago, when I was out in the street, that's been a long time ago, my friends and acquaintances, I don't know if they call them friends, used to call cocaine the white girl. Was, hey, man, you got any of that white girl? How much that white, I want a kilo of that white girl, right? That's what they call cocaine. So, and it wasn't being racist or anything. It was just, cocaine made you feel good. And it was white. So they call it the white girl. What do you want me to do? I didn't call it that. And nobody's being racist. See, that wasn't about race at all. But what I want to ask the question is here, and I don't want to be, presumptive here, nor insultive. But I want to ask the question, is Donald Trump on that white girl again? Now, so here's what I'm going to do. When Trump first started running for the office of president, a lot of people in politics said that he was using the white girl. And we can pull up some of that footage if you like, if you want verification of it. But I want you to listen to his speech last night. And one of the traits of the white girl, one of the things she will make your nose run. You'll think, and it really isn't running, you'll think that some mucus is coming down your nose. So you have to, even in a public meeting, if you're sitting down at dinner, you have to suck up like that. Because a white girl makes your nose feel like it's running all over the place. It isn't really, but that's the sensation you get once that white girl, that manita and that quinine that they cut that white girl with. Say, how you know about that? I told you I was out of the street before. Why you got to ask so many questions? When they cut that white girl, that pure cocaine, they cut it, that stuff will make your nose run. So you find yourself sucking up quite a bit. And it's very noisy and annoying, too. What I'm going to do, I'm going to try not to interrupt Trump's speech last night. I'll try to do that in another segment. I'll play it twice today. I want you to watch and notice how much he sucks up. So I asked the question, is he on that white girl again? I didn't say he was. I just asked the question. As a journalist, I have a right to ask a question. So don't go algorithm me and all kind of stuff. Mr. Engineer, roll that clip.
So we're going to come together. We're going to drill, baby, drill right away. Yeah. Drill, baby, drill. We're going to seal up the border. Because right now we have an invasion. We have an invasion of millions and millions of people that are coming into our country. I can't imagine why they think that's a good thing. It's a very bad thing. I think it's a group of people that are probably larger in number than New York State. And we can't have that. We can't have that. It's not sustainable as a country. It's horrible. 3. And they're coming from prisons and jails. They're coming from all over. They're coming from countries that most people have never heard of.
4.
And they're coming from mental institutions and insane asylums. They're being emptied out into our country.
5.
And they're terrorists. Many terrorists are coming in. In 2019, I saw just recently on a poll,
6.
They had none in 2019, no terrorists. Now, I even say there's got to be some, but they have none.
7.
And then as soon as this group took over,
8.
They have hundreds and hundreds of terrorists coming in, known terrorists, some of them really bad.
9.
And many of them are in, and they came in, and nobody knows where they are. This is not a good thing.
10.
And we're going to have to deport. We're going to have a deportation level that we haven't seen in this country for a long time, since Dwight Eisenhower, actually. So I don't want to be overly rough on the president, but I have to say that he is the worst president that we've had in the history of our country. He's destroying our country. And, you know, my wife attended the funeral 2 months ago of Rosalind Carter.
11.
And it was beautiful. And Jimmy Carter was there. And I thought to myself, Jimmy Carter is happy now.
12.
Because he will go down as being a brilliant president by comparison to Joe Biden. He'll be a brilliant president. He's going to be known as brilliant by comparison.
13.
So we have to stop the invasion. We have to bring down our energy. We have to, you know, I say all the time, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other nation anywhere in the world.
14.
And we have to stop the crime, and we have to help rebuild our cities, and we have to rebuild the capital, Washington, D.C. I was there
15.
on one of the Biden indictment trials. You know, this is the only person this never happened before, but I go to a lot of courthouses because of Biden, because they're using that for election interference.
16.
And it's on things like election, and I don't know if you know, but they did polls tonight on
17.
the election of 2020. Do you believe it was honest or not? 82% said it was not. And we can't have that, Chairman. We can't have that. You can't have a situation like that.
18.
So
was it 19? I don't know.
We're going to straighten out our elections. We're going to do a lot of great things. We're going to try and go to paper ballots as soon as possible. Voter ID, one day elections. You know, we have these elections that last for 62 days, and if you need some more time, take as much time as you want, and so many bad things happen. We
19.
have to get rid of mail-in ballots, because once you have mail-in ballots, you have crooked elections. Actually, Jimmy Carter's commission said that a long time ago.
20.
We're going to rescue our economy. We're going to save our economy. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. There was never a greater economy, and now we don't. And when you look at what's happened with inflation, inflation is destroying. You know, they call it a country killer.
21.
Going back hundreds of years, Germany, countries that had big inflation are dead.
22.
They become dead countries. We have to stop that
23.
immediately. And we want peace through strength.
24.
Russia would have never attacked Ukraine, would have never done it. Putin and I get along fine. We get along very well. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. The fake
25.
news, if the fake news would become real and honest news, 90% of our problems in this country would be solved. They would be solved. So Russia would have never attacked. Israel would have never been attacked. The Ukraine situation is so horrible. The Israeli situation is so horrible, what's happened. And we're going to get them solved. We're going to get them solved very fast. I actually said Ukraine. I know
26.
President Putin very well. I know Zelensky very well. I'm going to get him in. We're going to get it solved very quickly. Should have never happened. Would have never happened. Now you have all that death, far greater than people understand.
27.
The numbers are far, far greater than anybody would
28.
even think possible. You're going to find that out in the years to come.
29.
When they knock down these massive buildings in Ukraine, and then you see
30.
They announced 2 people were slightly wounded. No, many people were killed. Many people were killed. We're going to get it stopped.
32.
But it's so sad because it should have never started.
33.
People killed and a culture destroyed. You can never replace 1,000-year-old buildings with the most beautiful golden domes and churches and everything, just all rubble now.
34.
And it's so sad. Would have never, ever happened.
35.
And likewise, Israel would have never been attacked. It all comes from Iran, and we would have had to deal with Iran very quickly had the election where we, by the way, got, and I say we because it's all we,
36.
we got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country. But they say we lost by a whisker, okay? But regardless of that, we're going to do incredible things, and we're not going to let
37.
China do what they'd like to do. I get along great with him also. President Xi is a very strong leader. And we're going to get things solved. We're going to get the Ukraine war solved. We're going to get the Israeli situation solved.
40.
But if you think back to that, Iran was broke. I said to every country, anybody does business with Iran, buys oil from Iran.
41.
They were broke. We're not going to let you do business in the United States.
42.
And that's the way it is. They did very little business, almost sold no oil. Nobody wanted to do that. That's a big penalty.
43.
And what happened is they had no money to
44.
give to Hamas and to give to Hezbollah.
45.
And in fact, there were a lot of stories at the time. They had no money for terror.
46.
And for 4 years, we had no terror.
47.
We had the terror ban. We had the terror ban. They call it the Trump travel ban, but it was really the Trump terror ban. We don't want people in our country that are going to blow up our shopping centers. Thank you very much. And we want a country of law and order. So we're going to rebuild the capital of our country, Washington, D.C. We're going to scrub those beautiful marble columns and
49.
get the swastikas off them, and we're going to scrub them and get the graffiti off them, and we're going to clean the streets, and we're going to rebuild the streets, and we're not going to have rusted medians through the middle that are falling down into the roads where foreign dignitaries from all over the world come and they look.
I don't know how much longer the speech goes on. Some of you may not, I can't imagine who doesn't know, but cocaine is a drug, can be taken many different ways. You can actually freebase it. You can actually cook it and take it that way. You can inject it with a needle into your veins. But the most common way people take cocaine, and the quickest way, and probably the way that Trump, if anybody who does it, is that you do what they say as snort it. You then you and when you do that, it leaves the membranes of your nose very sensitive. It feels like that it has no it actually burns your membranes, so you have no covering over the skin, and it feels like something is running down your nose when it really isn't. There's nothing running down your nose, but you breathe like that because you think that it is. He did that 50 times in a 5-minute speech, or a 3-minute speech that they did. Now, one can argue that that is not the case with him, that he just, has an asthma problem, or if that's where you are, because I don't know for sure. All I know is, for me, as a person from the street, and I'm no longer in the street, I'm a man saved of God, washed in the blood, fire baptized, tongue talking, if you will. But I do know that experience, and that's what happens when people snort cocaine. You constantly sniffing. So I raised the question, is Trump on the white girl again? And I don't know that he is. I'm not saying that he is. I'm not even alleging that he is. I just said that's what it looks like to me, and I could be dead wrong.